All right, so we have the lifted Tahoe back. When I say back, it's just been here at my property. It's been sitting. I pulled it out, jumped it, got it started, and then pressure washed it. And man, it was caked up with dirt. Just filthy. But we're gonna get it back going again. We're gonna start a new build on it. We're actually going to leave the lift that's on it, which is a rough country 2-inch lift, which is basically torsion keys and then some spacers in the back. Right now it's running the Venom Power tires on 20-inch wheels. We are actually going to change that. We're going to go to a 17-inch wheel. At least that's my plan, a 17-inch wheel and a 35-inch tire. And then if we have to trim, we'll trim. And the main reason for this project is been doing a lot of trips, pulling a small camper, but I need to be able to get the ATVs and the kayaks and all the other stuff out. And the little Nobo is quite small, so we figured we could do the 4Runner and we can do the Tahoe. Since we already own it, there's no point in buying something else. My one concern with this is I did have this in the north, and a lot of looks like surface rust more than anything. And I have had to replace some brake lines on this thing. Probably gonna have to do more. But it was up north for a couple years when I was stationed up there in New Jersey, and they love salt. So this is what the frame looks like. I really feel like I could probably wire brush it and then paint it, and it'd probably look pretty good, but we will see. Now in this build to bring this thing back, I really don't want to spend a lot of money on this. I just kind of want to drive it. There's little sentimental value in this thing. I've owned it for, geez, probably 10 years now. So little sentimental value, and it's got a lot of work. Still got cold AC. It's got the 5.3, still runs great. When I drove it out to North Carolina a couple years ago, I had to put a new water pump on it, so water pump is relatively new. And I did plugs a couple years ago, stuff like that. But you know, it's been sitting, so there is stuff that needs to be done. So I'm probably going to end up redoing the plugs because it has been quite a few thousand miles. And we'll probably clean up the engine bay a little bit, change out the filter, and I don't know what else the motor will need. Other than that, it runs pretty good. It's pretty solid. Starts right up. And then if you watch my previous videos, you know that I battled something on this thing for a while, and I got it fixed. And it was fixed for a couple years, and that was the service 4-wheel drive. Well, after sitting for a couple years, we have the same problem again. So we have no lights in the 4-wheel drive, and 4-wheel drive is going to be pretty important because I plan on towing the trailer up to Utah with this thing. So we're probably going to end up replacing the encoder on the transfer case to see if that works. So like I said, I don't want to put too much money in this thing for the fact that, like, you know, it's not meant to be like that. This project's more so to get it back going and get it back on the road. But I'm just going over everything with you in this video, kind of going over my thoughts and what I plan on doing. These are great vehicles. These things run forever. They're solid. I'm gonna turn it off so you don't hear the noise of it running. And they run great. This is like probably one of the best model Tahoe Suburbans, Silverados that you could have. They all had the same problems though, rusted brake lines. And if you're up north, you had a couple problems with like rust and stuff. But like I said, the frame still looks solid on this thing. It's just some of the areas from being up north. And like I said, I do not want the wheels anymore. I want to go back down to a 17-inch wheel and a big tire like I used to have on here. I'm probably gonna replace the hitch as it's pretty rusty from being up north. Then other than that, we're basically gonna get it ready to get inspected again because it has not been inspected. I've basically just driven it around and did some stuff on the property, towed a small trailer around the property and moved everything around. But other than that, I haven't done too much with it. So we're gonna check all the lights. I'm just gonna make a checklist of what all needs to be replaced. I know the rear hatch brake light is out, but that's been out for like 8 years. But we're gonna go ahead and get an Amazon one, replace it. And then these headlights, they're pretty messed up. You see a lot of condensation in them. They're old. These have been on here since the day I had this thing. So we're gonna order a set of Amazon lights and we're gonna replace these. And, ooh, that one's loose. And then, like I said, once we get the 35s, the wheels and tires on it, we are gonna see what we need to do to trim. And I'm sure we're gonna have to cut the bumper, but as you can see, it's got some rust. It's still really solid, just a little bit of rust. So whatever we need to trim, we'll trim. And I do want to take this down some trails in Utah, so that's why four-wheel drive is going to be very important. We will end up doing whatever it takes to get the transfer case working. Now I'll post an updated video on that. But that's what happens when things sit. Things go wrong. And even if you drive it a lot, things go wrong. So can't do anything about it. We'll just get it fixed. And I'll post an updated video on how I fixed the service four-wheel drive. And I'm really thinking it's on the transfer case, and it's the transfer case motor and the coder. So that will be one of the first things we do. I have 2 switches. We got to switch out the switches. Don't think it's a switch because the lights come on when you start it. But that's the plan, is basically get this thing ready for some trails. We're gonna leave the lift as is. I don't have a problem. I really don't want a 6-inch lifted Tahoe running around and all that stuff. And then we're gonna do some of the brake line work whenever we need to do that. And like I said, the biggest change, the most expensive change on this thing is gonna be the wheels and tires, because we are gonna take these off. I got my money's worth out of these. Lots of videos, lots of miles, and I'm gonna sell these. So that should help pay for the wheel and tire package that I'm gonna get. And we will see what it looks like from there. But as I go everything, I'll update. This is just to get Tahoe back in the picture. And like I said, it is going to start getting worked on. It is going to start getting fixed, and it's going to start being in more videos. So everyone that started following this channel because of the Tahoe, thank you. Thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for watching the videos, and let's get them cranking out some more and get this thing back to having some fun again.